good morning everyone. You know, health is a crown on the well person head that only a ill person can see. To maintain good health, what you have to do? You have to take hygienic food, you have to do regular exercise, and you have to keep smile on your face so that health will be well for always. Okay, let's begin the chapter. Today I am going to tell about Kingdom Animalia, a fascinating story about animal kingdom. Let's begin the chapter. When you see the first PC syllabus, you have 22 chapters. All chapters are very important for your NEET examination. You have already learnt about the first 3 chapters. First chapter ಏನು ಓದಿದ್ರಿ? The living world ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. In the living world you have learnt about what is living, what are the characteristic features of the living organism. You have already learnt about nomenclature, systematic, binomial nomenclature, taxonomical aid, etc. In the second chapter, biological classification, you have learnt about bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. In the third chapter, plant kingdom, you have learnt about the structure of the flower, androecium, and about gynoecium, and you have also learnt about placentation, fruits, seeds. Seeds alli ನೀವು monocotyledon seed, dicotyledon seed ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. As well as you have also learnt about 3 families, Fabaceae, Solanaceae as well as Liliaceae. All chapters are very much important. Today let's begin the chapter 4, that is animal kingdom. Let's see the introduction. See, whenever you look at around us, you can see different type of ecosystem. What are the different type of ecosystem you can see? Pond ecosystem, forest ecosystem, you can also see marine ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, etc. What are the organisms which are present there? In the pond ecosystem you can see fishes, you can see big fishes, you can see frog, you can see snakes, you can see, and many more. Whereas you can see in the marine ecosystem, you can also see the same type of organisms, but you can also see some other organisms like octopus, you can see whale, you can see shark, you can see, and many more. Similarly, when you look at the forest ecosystem, you can see lion, tiger, deer, elephant, buffaloes, etc. When you look at the grassland ecosystem, you can see tiger, you can see leopard, you can see, which are specialized to that region. That means millions of organisms which can be seen in the ecosystem, which can be seen in the fascinating earths. Over a million species have been discovered till now. That means when you look at the earths, there are thousands and millions of organisms you can see. Many organisms are discovered and there are some organisms are yet to be discovered. The classification help in assigning systematic position newly described species. That means ಹೊಸ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಿಸ್ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ classification will help in naming the organism in systematic way. Let's see the next slide. See here, when you see an organism in the earth, that can be broadly classified into 5 kingdom, which is given by R.H. Whittaker. That means R.H. Whittaker gave 5 kingdom system of classification that include kingdom Monera, Protista, Mycota, Metaphyta as well as Metazoa. Previous class alli idra ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದಿದಿರಾ. Just I will take an example. When you see the Monerans, you can see bacteria, blue green algae, etc. When you see the protozoan, you can see single cell organisms like amoeba, paramecium, euglena. Similarly, when you see the fungi, that means Mycota, you can see yeast, rhizopus as well as mushrooms, molds you can see. When you see the plantae, you can see trees, herbs as well as plants you can see. And when you see the Animalia, Kingdom Animalia nodidre ಯಾವ ತರ organisms ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ organisms ಇರುತ್ತೆ like fishes, insects, birds and many more. Today we are dealing with the Kingdom Animalia. So according to 5 kingdom system of classification which is given by R.H. Whittaker, it has Monera, Protista, Mycota, Metaphyta as well as Metazoa. 5 kingdom system of classification include Monera, Protista, Mycota, Metaphyta as well as Metazoa. Today we are learning about Metazoan, that is Kingdom Animalia. So what is an animal then? In a Latin word, anima means air or breath or soul. Soul ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಆತ್ಮ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, ಬ್ರೀತಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು? ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. So what is an animal? Animal is nothing but what? Multicellular organism. ಯಾವುದೇ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಒಂದೇ ಸೆಲ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಲೋವರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದರೆ ಪೊರಿಫೆರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಲ್ಟಿಸೆಲ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೋಟೋಜೋವಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಮೀಬಾ ಮಾತ್ರ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಆನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯೂಗ್ಲಿನಾ ಈಸ್ ನೀದರ್ ಎ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನಾರ್ ಎನ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್. ಓಕೆ, so animal is defined as multicellular organisms which have movement, that means motile organisms. They feed on organic matter, that means they depend on plant, as well as they have sense organs like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, as well as skin you can see, and also have nervous system. So what is an animal? Animal is defined as multicellular organisms which have movement, which depend on plants for their food and nutrition. Even they also have well developed sense organs as well as nervous system you can see. So this is nothing but what? An animal. See here, let's see the silent features of kingdom Animalia. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಆನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಗುಣಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು. These are the silent features which are there for an animal. For example, multicellular. Animal should be multicellular. That means they have many cells. All cells they group together to form what? Tissue. Tissue they form organ or organized to form organism. That means all animals are multicellular organism. Cells they group together to form tissue they group together to form organ they organize to form organism. Animal have heterotrophic condition. Heterotrophic condition ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Plants prepare their own food. Okay, they are autotrophic condition. They have autotrophic. Auto ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Self. ಟ್ರೋಪಿಕ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಫುಡ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ನ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಸಿಂಥಸೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ದರ್ ಓನ್ ಫುಡ್, ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫುಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವಾಟ್? ಆಟೋಟ್ರೋಪಿಕ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಟೋಟ್ರೋಪಿಕ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್. ಸೊ ಆಟೋಟ್ರೋಪಿಕ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅನೇಬಲ್ ಟು ಸಿಂಥಸೈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಅದರ್ organisms for nutrition. Next ನೋಡಿ eukaryotic cell. So eukaryotic prokaryotic ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. When you see the prokaryotes, ಇದೊಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಣ. So this is an prokaryotic cell, prokaryotic cell, and this is nothing but eukaryotic cell. So ಈ ಸೆಲ್ ಏನು? prokaryotic. ಈ ಸೆಲ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು eukaryotic. When you see the prokaryotic cell, they have ಇನ್ಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, ಅಂದರೆ ವೆಲ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆಲ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. ವೆಲ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಸುತ್ತ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ವೆಲ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ರೋಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಇನ್ಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಆದರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. When you see the prokaryotes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ 70s ರೈಬೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ರೈಬೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? 80s ರೈಬೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, 80s ರೈಬೋಸೋಮ್. When you see a plant, they have cell wall. When you see a plant, they have cell wall. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಸೆಲ್, they do not have cell wall but plasma membrane you can see. So eukaryotic animal cell ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? outermost covering ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? plasma membrane ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. and in the eukaryotic cell you can see membrane bound cell organelles you can see. eukaryotic cell ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? membrane bound cell organelle, whereas in case of prokaryote you cannot see membrane bound cell organelles. Okay, whereas when you see the DNA, nucleus ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಿದೆ? DNA ಇದೆ. ಪ್ರೋಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಇದೆ? ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ. ಪ್ರೋಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಇದೆ? ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ. ವರಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಲೀನಿಯರ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ. ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್? ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ, 80s ರೈಬೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ. ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಆದರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್? Plasma membrane you can see. Cell organelle, membrane bound cell organelles are present, and DNA is linear DNA you can see. And this eukaryotic cell is one of the feature of kingdom Animalia. Let's see the next slide. Locomotion. See, whenever you see the locomotion, ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಶೋ ಲೋಕೋಮೋಷನ್, ಲೋಕೋಮೋಟ್ರಿ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ. So that is also one of the important feature. The next point is sense organ. They have evolved sensory neuromotor system. That means they have nervous system as well as sensory system. They work together and they are called what? Sensory neuromotor system, which is well developed. Sensory system andre yavadu? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue as well as skin is nothing but what? Sense organs which are present in the body. Adhe tara nervous system kuda ide. Eradu seridre adana enanta karitivi? Sensory neuromotor system, which is well developed and provides specialized sense organ. Eradu seri ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ನೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. That means sensory organs as well as nervous system, they work together and they have well developed organ, and that is also one of the feature. Sense organs are well developed in kingdom Animalia. The next one is reproduction. So what is reproduction? The ability to produce the organisms is nothing but what? Reproduction. In another word, we can say it is a physiological process during which an organism produces young ones of its own kind to continue the generation. So idanna ನೀವು first second chapter ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. That is about reproduction. So animal kingdom Animaliaದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ reproduction ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ sexual reproduction ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So what do you mean by sexual reproduction? Two parents are involved and they produce the gamete. Fertilization you can see, as we know, and that is nothing but what? Sexual reproduction. But lower kingdom ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ kingdom Animaliaದಲ್ಲಿ lower forms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ reproduction ಇರುತ್ತೆ? Asexual reproduction you can see. One more time, reproduction in case of higher organism you can see sexual reproduction, whereas in lower organism you can see asexual reproduction. The last point is development. Development means what? Exhibit series of progressive developmental stages from embryo into adult. As we know, during sexual reproduction, male and female gamete they fuse together to form zygote, and these zygote undergo a series of developmental changes and they become an adult, and that process is called what? Development. And this is about what? The silent features of kingdom Animalia. Let's revise the topic once again. We are learning about silent features of kingdom Animalia. So when you see the kingdom Animalia, they show multicellular. That means the animal have many cells. All cells they together to form tissue, tissue they form organ, organ they form organ system. And these animal they depend on other organism, either may be plant or lower organism for food and nutrition. And when you see the kingdom animal, they the cells which are eukaryotic cell. That means they have definite nucleus you can see, 80s ribosome you can see. If it is a plant cell they have cell wall, if it is an animal cell they have cell membrane. And you can also see membrane bound cell organelles, and DNA is linear, straight linear DNA you can see. Even the kingdom animal they show movement, that means locomotion is well developed, sensory neuromotor system is well developed. Reproduction in higher organism they show sexual reproduction, in case of lower organism they show asexual reproduction you can see. Development means what? A series of developmental changes you can see from zygote to adult, and this process is called what? Development. And these are the points which are included in kingdom Animalia. So this is all about the introduction of the animal kingdom. Let's meet in the next class. Study well. Thank you.